Hi Edit, here's the feedback on the question 5 of the paper 2 mock exam that you did recently. I like your rhetorical question here. It's a good start to draw the reader in, and you've started it off with an interesting factor. All children seem so tired in school and after school, and ended it with the rhetorical questions. That's an interesting way of starting your essay. You've included a short anecdote here about when you couldn't sleep for worrying about it, and you've included people's opinions followed by a rhetorical question again, which is good. Again, here we've got some more rhetorical questions, and you've expressed opinion. And then down here, when you have holidays, you're focused on it. So you've used direct address appealing directly to the reader, especially when you say, just imagine going to Spain for a week. So again, it's good use of the direct appeal and direct address. A bit of emotive language here. I think it's a bit scary when you talked about having to take homework on holiday with you. Opinion again here, you've drawn it back to your opinion of how you think when you understand when children are being off sick and have to catch up with their work. Here we have a mixture of direct address, you are going home from work, and expressing your opinion. And finally, we get your conclusion at the end. I think homework has no value. You reiterated your point there. I'm not sure what this is meant to be. Is it meant to be me and the other hundreds of mums? I think that if all children would have their own free time, the world would be more happier and healthier. So good emotive language there at the end to leave the reader thinking about how much happier and healthier the world would be if we didn't have to do homework. Okay, so if we look at the mark scheme for the content and organisation, so we start off looking at the upper level 2 band. So some sustained attempt to match register to audience and some sustained attempt to match purpose. So I think you've done that. You've been clearly aware of what your aims were and your target audience. Conscious use of vocabulary with some use of linguistic devices. I think you have done this. You've used several linguistic devices. You've used lots of rhetorical questions, some emotive language. We've talked about it being scary and that the children will be happier and healthier. You've also said somewhere about the children feeling like slaves. Here you've said they should feel like a slave going to school for so long and then coming back home with so much homework. Actually, I'm not sure whether it's meant to say they should not feel like a slave or they would feel like a slave, but they should, I don't think is quite the right word to use, but however, slave is a good use of emotive language. You've also used your own opinion and other people's opinions, and a little anecdote where you said that people that you couldn't sleep for worrying about it. So all in all, I think you have used conscious use of vocabulary with some linguistic devices. So if we move on to the organisation, some use of structural features. Well, you've used a rhetorical question for your heading. You've introduced what you're going to write about. You've had your conclusion, and then you've got your paragraphs in the middle, so that's good. Increasing variety of linked and relevant ideas. Your ideas are all linked and very relevant. And some use of paragraphs and some use of discourse markers. You've used paragraphs well, however, the one thing that you've not used is discourse markers, and these are words like on the other hand and nevertheless and so on. So we will look at using some more of those. So because you've not used any discourse markers really, We just need to drop down into the lower level 2 band for that, where it says uses some use of discourse markers, not always appropriate. So I think overall it's got to be a 9 out of 12 for the content and organisation part of your writing. If we move on and look at the technical side of your writing now, sentence demarcation is mostly secure and sometimes accurate. Well, yeah, it's definitely there. Some capital letters, I'm not sure whether it's your capital T's, there are capital T's but don't look like it, so if you could perhaps make sure that they do look like capital T's. For example, this one here and this one here, they should be capitals. I'm not sure whether they are or not. So you just perhaps need to make sure it is a capital if that is your capital T. And the next bullet point says some control over a range of punctuation. Well, you are using a range of punctuation. We've got lots of rhetorical questions in, so we've got the question marks. When you're using speech marks, just be careful that you use the English version of the speech marks where both opening and closing speech marks go above the line there, not on the line here. I've marked it on your actual exam paper so that you'll see what I mean. Some missing apostrophes, so we needed an apostrophe here, let apostrophe s, because it's short for let us say, but we will be looking at apostrophes in the next couple of weeks as well, because we've not actually done those yet. Okay, the next bullet point is attempt a variety of sentence forms. Well, again, I think you've done that. You've included rhetorical questions, exclamatories, you've got some short sentences in there, and then you've got complex and compound sentences, so yeah, that's fine. Some use of standard English with some control of agreement. Now, on the whole, you have used standard English, however, you have slipped into slang a little bit a couple of times where you've used kids here and here, so try not to do that because kids is too informal for your essay. There are a couple of grammar mistakes. We have to think about the homework. We don't need the S on for homeworks there. And this is one. Again, same sort of thing. I really do understand when the children's are off. We don't need the S on there because children is already plural. And one more here. All children feels different. It's all children feel different, so we don't need that S on there. So it seems to be a little bit of an issue with adding S's randomly on words there, so we need to perhaps have a look at that. Some accurate spelling of more complex words. Not really too many problems with your spelling, although you spent really wrong. It really needs to have the double L in it. So it's, looking at it here, it's REALLY. But apart from that, your spelling's pretty good, and varied use of vocabulary. Yeah, you've used a range of different words. I've just spotted one more grammar point here. Play with their friends. There would not be that many overweight. We don't need the ED on the end there. It's just overweight children. There's that kid sneaking in again. So all in all, I think we'll go for the top of the level 2 band. So that's 8 out of the possible 16 marks for the technical side of your writing, which gives you an overall score of 17 out of 40 for this question, which at this stage in the course is a reasonably good score. So well done, keep up the good work, keep up your 100% attendance, and keep doing your homeworks and handing them in for marking. And I'm sure you will get a good grade in your GCSE exam. Well done, Edit.